A performer who enthralled millions, a living legend, and a voice that shaped generations. But there was a tale of love, resiliency, and heartbreak hidden beneath the gloss, the glamour, and the memorable hits. We consider Sir Tom Jones' remarkable life and hardships today. The final chapter of his remarkable life is about to begin. As we delve into his legacy, the struggles he faced in his last days, and the enduring influence of the man who won over millions of hearts with his immortal song, stay tuned. Early life. On June 7, 1940, Thomas John Woodward was born in a modest home in Treforest, Wales, at 57, Kingsland Terrace. His mother, Frida, stayed at home to take care of the family while his father worked at a coal mine. Both Welsh and English were mixed in their family heritage, which would greatly influence Tom's personality. Wales offered a simple yet authentic way of life. Tom's character was shaped by the difficulties, the strong feeling of community, and the commitment to hard work. Tom showed a great talent even as a small youngster. Sports and education didn't really interest him, but singing was his true passion. Tom's voice was distinctive at weddings, family gatherings, and even in the school chorus. It was powerful, expressive, and emotionally charged. When Tom was 12 years old, things became challenging. He had TB, according to the doctors. His world felt quite narrow because he had to spend 2 whole years in bed. Only his thoughts and his room. He subsequently remarked, "It was the worst time of my life." But he turned to music as an escape. He sketched sketches and listened to records because he had nothing else to do. His passion for singing grew much more as a result. He was a different person when he eventually recovered, more driven by his love of music than ever. And he didn't hesitate to start acting. Early career. In 1963, Tom joined Tommy Scott and the Senators, a local Welsh band, as their main vocalist. Although they weren't well known, South Wales loved them. They were well received by the audiences, and Tom stood out thanks to his powerful voice. Word got out about the singer with the strong voice. They didn't immediately become successful, despite recording a few songs with producer Joe Meek. When a Decca producer called Peter Sullivan saw them perform at an event, things began to shift. Even so, it wasn't simple. Although the band recorded a few songs, none of them gained any traction. The man who would fundamentally alter Tom's life, Gordon Mills, was then introduced to him. Mills was more than simply a singer's manager. He had a unique outlook on the future. He recognized in Tom a unique quality that may transcend the modest clubs in Wales. Tom was sent to London by Mills, who also gave him a new name. There was no Tommy Scott. In honor of a well-liked 1963 film, he adopted the name Tom Jones. This name stayed, but Tom's fame would come from his incredible voice. Mills put a lot of effort into getting Tom a record deal. With Decca Records, they at last achieved success in 1964. That year, they released their debut single, Chills and Fever, but it wasn't a hit. Nobody seems to notice. They were under a lot of strain because of this, yet they persisted. It's Not Unusual followed. It was this song that would catapult Tom to stardom. It took more than simply Tom's voice to propel him from local to global renown. It also had to do with his will to overcome obstacles. Many might have given up when Tom hit a crossroads early in his career when things weren't going as expected. Rather, he intensified his vision and devotion. He was open to taking on new tasks. Whether that meant adopting a new sound or altering his name. He demonstrated that the path to success isn't always straight by being resilient, which became a defining characteristic of his career. Even if a lot of people might have questioned him in his early years, Tom's perseverance and Gordon Mills' faith in his abilities set the stage for a future full of memorable performances and classic successes. Become famous. Following extensive Radio Caroline marketing, the song became a massive hit in early 1965. It swiftly gained enormous popularity in the US and peaked at number 1 in the UK. All of a sudden, Tom was more than simply a well-known local singer. He caused a stir. The hits continued to roll in. In the same year, Tom recorded the unique and iconic song What's New Pussycat, composed by Burt Bacharach and Hal David, as well as the theme song for the James Bond film Thunderball. Tom was first hesitant to sing such an odd tune, but Bacharach persuaded him. And it became into another timeless smash when Tom powerfully performed that well-known chorus. By 1966, Tom Jones was well known. His loud, powerful voice reverberated around the room. As the year's finest new artist, he even took home a Grammy Award. However, his popularity began to decline as soon as he gained notoriety. At the time of the British invasion, people were beginning to prefer other types of music to Tom's. His voice wasn't any worse, but the music industry was evolving. Tom needed to succeed in a different way. Gordon Mills came to his aid once more at that point. Mills had a strategy. By transforming Tom from a wild rock and roll vocalist into a crooner who could appeal to a larger audience, he altered the perception of Tom. This modification was successful. Tom began producing more somber and grown-up tracks, fusing slow and romantic tunes with his deep voice. His return to fame came quickly after. Tom put out hit song after smash song throughout the ensuing years. In the UK, songs like I'm Coming Home, I'll Never Fall in Love Again, and Delilah gained a lot of popularity. Delilah became one of his most popular songs and peaked at number 2 on the music charts. Tom's powerful, emotive voice added a unique touch to every song. The pressures of Tom's career increased along with his notoriety. And he had to deal with the demands of being a worldwide celebrity all the time. Behind the scenes, the strain of upholding a public image while balancing his personal life put Tom's fortitude to the test in addition to the difficulties of the music business. He performed in renowned locations and signed lucrative deals as a result of the intensity of his ascent to stardom. His music wasn't the only factor in his achievement. In a field that is always evolving, it was about creating an enduring legacy. As musical tastes changed, Tom was able to adjust and stay current by coming up with new ways to interact with his followers. He was a timeless character because of his capacity to change while remaining loyal to his origins, and his ongoing success was evidence of his capacity to do so when called upon. Exciting World of Las Vegas. I recorded an album called From the Heart, which they named, I don't know why, but it was a collection of standards that I did, with large arrangements, while I was in Vegas with Frank Sinatra and Elvis Presley. Tom Jones made his debut in the thrilling world of Las Vegas in 1967 when he performed at the Flamingo Hotel. This was a pivotal point in his professional life. His demeanor was well suited to the glitzy and vibrant Vegas scene, and his large and dynamic stage presence was adored by the audience. His shows quickly rose to fame. Tom was no longer merely singing. He was performing a wonderful show. He frequently wore his shirts half open. He looked quite gorgeous and gave his strong voice a unique type of enthusiasm because he was wearing tight jeans and had an open, welcoming appearance. For him, Vegas became a second home. And he continued to play there for at least a week each year until 2011. Jones, however, wasn't solely focused on live performances. He rose to fame between 1969 and 1971 thanks to his own television program, This Is Tom Jones, which aired in both the US and the UK. At the time, the program was worth £9 million, which was an extraordinarily high amount of money. Particularly for a Welsh boy who used to only want to sing for others to hear. Jones' unique personality, humorous antics, and a variety of vocalists performing together kept him in the spotlight as he continued to write popular songs. He was adored by viewers, and the program even nominated him for a Golden Globe. The mid-1970s saw a decline in Tom's popularity. The music industry was evolving, and songs that had formerly been huge hits on the charts didn't seem to be as successful anymore. Jones, however, wasn't prepared to call it quits. Never one to give up, he began singing country music, and this move proved to be successful. He demonstrated his versatility as a musician when his 1976 single, Say You'll Stay Until Tomorrow, peaked at number 1 on the US country music charts. When necessary, Jones was always able to adjust and alter. And this enabled him to continue his career. Tom tried acting about the same time. His first scheduled film role in Yakka Wall was cancelled due to financial difficulties, although he did begin acting in Pleasure Cove, a 1979 television film. People were taken aback by Tom Jones's smooth and endearing criminal persona, which revealed a new side to him. Then a really tragic event occurred in his life. When Gordon Mills, his longtime friend and manager, passed away from illness in 1986. For Jones, this was a really trying period. Mills was largely in charge of creating the Tom Jones that the world knew, helping to mold his career and guiding him through both good and terrible times. Tom's son, Mark, took over as Mills' manager after his death. They worked well together as a team, and Tom's career quickly returned to success. Jones' song "A Boy From Nowhere," which peaked at number 2 on the charts in 1987, helped him regain popularity in the UK. He recorded a new version of Prince's song "Kiss" with the electronic music group Art of Noise, and it became another hit single the following year. For Jones, this was a crucial moment. Together with his iconic and strong voice, the song's contemporary and funky sound produced something fresh and captivating. The song gained a lot of popularity in the US and the UK, and the music video was a huge hit on MTV. With this significant resurgence, Jones began to win over a younger audience. Tom's career was once again quite successful by the 1990s. He collaborated with the well-known artist Van Morrison and was awarded a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. In front of thousands of fans, he sang at the Glastonbury Festival in the United Kingdom. He also made appearances on well-known television programs like The Simpsons and The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, demonstrating that he was still regarded as significant and fascinating in popular culture. By releasing his 1999 album Reload, which had a variety of songs performed with various artists like Robbie Williams, The Cardigans, and Portishead, Jones continued to enjoy popularity. With over 4 million copies sold, it became one of his most popular albums. And peaking at the top of the UK music charts. Sex Bomb, a popular song from the album, became one of Jones' most well-known due to its lighthearted and enjoyable tone. However, Tom wasn't only interested in having fun. In recognition of his significant musical contributions, he was given a Brit Award at the start of the new century for being the finest male vocalist in Britain. He demonstrated that he was well-liked in many different nations by performing for U.S. President Bill Clinton at a special event to commemorate the beginning of the new century in Washington, D.C. With the assistance of Wyclef Jean, a well-known rapper from Haiti and America, he produced a new album titled Mr. Jones in 2002. He is always willing to try new things. His typical music was not the same as this record. However, Tom demonstrated once more that he was not scared to take a chance. In 2006, Tom Jones was made a knight by Queen Elizabeth II. This was a huge accomplishment for the young man from Treforest, Wales. With a lengthy career that sold over 100 million records and had numerous memorable moments, Sir Tom Jones had formally established himself as a highly renowned and esteemed individual. Tom never slowed down, even in his 70s. He joined the renowned TV show The Voice UK as a coach, where he offered his many years of knowledge and taught budding vocalists. He remained on the show for a number of seasons because people adored his endearing demeanor and his sage counsel. His 2010 album Praise and Blame had gospel and blues tracks that demonstrated the full force of his voice. The album was well received by music critics and peaked at number 2 in the UK charts, demonstrating that Tom was still capable of producing innovative and captivating music even after all these years. Tom Jones's subsequent albums, such as Spirit in the Room and Long Lost Suitcase, further demonstrated his talent. Each record was soulful, fusing rock, gospel, and blues in a way that only Tom Jones could. These recordings were released concurrently with his book, Over the Top and Back, in which he candidly and wryly discussed the highs and lows of his professional life. Tom shocked everyone once more in 2021 with his album Surrounded by Time, which featured reimagined versions of songs by Todd Snider and Bob Dylan. Tom's candid discussions about growing older, losing loved ones, and life in general sparked a lot of thought on this CD. Particularly moving was his rendition of the song I'm Growing Old, which revealed the fragility hiding beneath his powerful and charismatic demeanor. Tom performed with the same enthusiasm and vigor that he did when he was younger, despite being in his 80s. His strong voice filled the Principality Stadium in Cardiff in 2022 as he performed, thrilling both new and devoted fans. The love story between Tom Jones and Linda has been as fascinating as his professional life. His childhood sweetheart, Melinda Rose Trenchard, who everyone just called Linda, was at the heart of it all. When Tom and Linda were 12 years old, they started their narrative by walking to school together in their tiny Welsh village of Treforest. When Linda became pregnant at the age of 16, they made the decision to wed in a modest ceremony at the Pontypridd Register office. Despite the fact that their relationship wasn't always conventional, they were together ever since that day in 1957. In the middle of the 1960s, Linda largely avoided the spotlight as Tom's career took off. Linda stayed at home to care for their son, Mark, and keep things together while he traveled the world and recorded some of the most well-known songs of the day. She was the constant and steady element in his life, the one constant amidst all the excitement and celebrity. Not all of the time was Tom Jones faithful to his wife. Even Tom Jones acknowledged having numerous affairs when he was at the height of his career, claiming that he may have had up to 250 sexual encounters in a single year. For many women, his performances in Las Vegas, when he wore tight pants and wore his shirt exposed, only served to further solidify his status as a romantic hero. During his concerts, women would frequently toss their panties into the platform, and Tom, who was always endearing, would playfully comply. Tom had numerous affairs, some of which were more well-known than others, despite being married to Linda. In the late 1960s, one of the most well-known relationships was with Mary Wilson of the singing group The Supremes. After 2 years of dating, their relationship abruptly terminated when Linda learned of it. According to Tom, Linda was furious when she learned about the affair and, in true Welsh fashion, didn't hesitate to confront him about it. Linda remained with Tom despite his occasional infidelity. Linda remained married to him despite his highly publicized affair with another well-known woman in the early 1970s. Tom and Marjorie Wallace, the then Miss World, had a brief romantic engagement in 1973. The incident caused Marjorie Wallace to lose her title, and it became a major issue in the newspapers. Their connection was the subject of numerous newspaper articles, and it was a topic of conversation. However, when Linda learned, Tom had to explain things to more than just the tabloids. He had to confront his wife as well. Linda got furious and slapped Tom after he told her the truth. Once more, though, she chose to remain with him. Tom declared that Linda was the most important person in his life, and he stopped his relationship with Marjorie Wallace. In 1987, Tom briefly dated an American model named Catherine Berkery, which caused another major issue in their relationship. This time, the effects lasted. A DNA test revealed that Tom was the father of Catherine Berkery's kid, Jonathan, when she became pregnant. Tom insisted that the affair was an error and that he had been duped, but he still refused to establish a relationship with his son in spite of this. Tom's son from his romance with Catherine Berkery, Jonathan, is currently in his 30s and has reportedly never met his father. For many years, Tom kept quiet about this matter. In 2008, when questioned about it, he acknowledged that the affair had occurred but made no effort to mend his relationship with his son. Linda and Tom remained married despite Tom's connections with other women. Due to her reputation for being extremely secretive, Linda hardly ever accompanied Tom on his tours or attended public events. Far from her husband's dazzling and exciting life, she chose to stay at home. They purchased an expansive and exquisite home in Wales in the late 1980s. And Linda concentrated on making their lives quiet and tranquil. Linda always missed Wales and the easy life they had, even spending the most of their final years in Los Angeles. Linda grew increasingly reclusive and frequently refused to accompany Tom on his tours and musical endeavors. However, despite their occasional physical distance from one another, they maintained a close emotional bond. Since they both grew up in Wales and had similar beliefs, Tom once declared that Linda was the most important person in my life. He even acknowledged that he couldn't lie to her. When Tom launched his highly successful album Reload in 1999, he recorded a song that was a unique homage to his wife. The song, titled The Road, discussed their lengthy journey together and his intense love for her, despite their challenging moments. The lyrics say, "All that I know is wherever I go, the road always returns to you." Which shows that Tom realized that no matter how famous he became, was always the most important person in his life. Linda's death in 2016, something very sad happened to Tom and Linda. After a long fight against lung cancer, Linda died. Tom was heartbroken. He had been with her for 59 years, and losing her was the hardest thing he had ever experienced. In interviews after she died, Tom talked about how much Linda meant to him. She had been the foundation of his life, the thing that kept him steady. But in her final moments, Linda encouraged Tom to keep going and not let her death break him. One particular song became a powerful symbol of their love. I won't crumble with you if you fall. A new version of an old song that Tom recorded in 2021 was inspired by Linda's words. The song is about being there for someone when they are going through a difficult time, but also having the strength to keep moving forward. For Tom, this song was a way to remember Linda and to honor her wish for him to continue doing what he loved, singing. After Linda died, Tom moved back to the UK, fulfilling her last wish for him. He left the big house in Los Angeles that she had decorated because he no longer felt happy there without her. Tom's performances became a way for him to deal with his sadness, and he often talked about how he felt Linda was with him every time he went on stage. In the years since Linda passed away, Tom has made it clear that Linda was the love of his life, and he would never marry again. He said in an interview, "There's no history with anybody else." Despite the fame, the affairs, and the glamorous life he lived, Linda was always the most important woman in his life. Their marriage wasn't always perfect, but in the end, it was real. For Tom, the lasting effect of his love for Linda can be seen in his music. Even now, as his voice has become deeper with age, he sings with the same passion and feeling that first captivated people in the 1960s. He may have sung for millions of people, but only one woman truly held his heart. Tom's grief after Linda's passing was something he carried with him every day. But it also sparked a profound transformation in his music. Her death not only altered his personal life, but also reshaped his creative process. As a man who had always channeled his emotions into his performances, Tom found that the loss of Linda gave his voice a new depth, one that resonated with a vulnerability he had never fully explored before. This emotional shift in his artistry brought out a rawness in his songs, allowing fans to connect with him on a deeper level. Tom's dedication to his craft, coupled with the love he had for Linda, ensured that her memory would live on not just in his heart, but also through the music that continued to inspire generations. What are your Tom Jones memories? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel for more fascinating stories, and don't forget to check out one of the 2 videos on your screen. We'll see you in the next one.